Hi fashion lovers, welcome to our favorite design. My name is Favor. In today's video, I'll be teaching you guys how I draft out this beautiful bustier dart gown with a off hand. If today is your first time of coming across this video, please do well to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I upload any video. So the next thing I'm going to do is to make a starting line. So I'm going to be ruling a starting line to enable us know where we can start placing our tape for measurements. You can actually rule your starting line, or you can still use the edges of this paper to start your measurement. After making the lines, I'm going to start measuring the full length. Remember that this gown has a cut on the waist, so we are going to be drafting out the half length. So I'm marking about 18 inches for the half length. I'm going to start marking the basic body's measurement. I mark 8 for the length, 10 for the bust line, then I'm going to mark 15 inches for the under bust and 18 inches for the full length. So I'm going to mark this line to this other side. I'm going to connect the lines together. So I'll connect the chest line, the bust, under bust, and the half length. After joining the line, I also went ahead to label the lines too. So the next thing I'm going to do is to divide on the starting line. I'm going to divide her shoulder measurement by 2. So her shoulder measurement is 15. I divided it by 2 to get 7.5. I'm going to also mark 7.5 on the chest line, then use this ruler to connect the lines. This will enable us to get our armhole. Still on the starting line, I'm going to come down by 1 inches for our shoulder slope. Then I'll come over to the neckline. I'll mark 3 inches for the depth and then mark 3 inches for the length. That is 3 by 3. After marking this line, I'm going to connect the 2 lines with my curve rule. Just watch carefully. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing clearly. After joining the neckline, I'm going to connect this shoulder slope to the neckline. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to divide her bust measurement by 4. Her bust measurement by 4 is 9.5 inches. Her bust measurement is 39. So by 4 is 9.7 inches. Then on the shoulder line, to get our armhole, I'm going to divide whatsoever we have there by 2. So I have about 7 inches. Dividing it by 2 is 3.5. I will mark 3.5 and then go in by half an inch to get our armhole. I'm going to mark half an inch and then connect the 3 lines. After joining the armhole, the next thing is to mark her nipple to nipple measurement. Her nipple to nipple measurement is 9.7. So we are going to mark 9.7 down to the full length. So you mark 9.7 on your chest line, bust line, under bust, and full length. After marking this line, the next thing is to connect the 4 lines together. These lines will enable us to start drafting our bustier dart. Then on this underbust line, so at this point of making this video, my camera breakdown, so I could not video this part again. Just watch what I'm going to explain. On this underbust, I went in towards the center front by half an inch, and on the half length too, I went towards the center front half an inch, and then connected it from the bust line. I then connected the three lines together. Just see how the line goes from the bust line. I connected the line to the underbust and then to the half length. So I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. Then on the shoulder line, on the shoulder slope, to get our armhole, I'm going to mark 2.5 inches. I marked 2.5 inches. Then this will enable us to get a new shoulder. This will enable us to get a new armhole. Then I'm going to connect this line to the bust line. Just watch carefully. I'm going to connect this line. After connecting this line, from that line I'm going to come down by 1 inches to form a new armhole. This will enable your breast hole to tighten. It will tighten your breast hole. So from that place I'm going to come down by 1 inches. After marking the 1 inches, I'm going to connect it down to the bust line. I'll connect it down to the bust line. If you watch very well, you observe that our bustier is getting ready. So from this line, I'm going to tighten it, but I'm still going to go out by 1 inches for our new armhole. So I'll go out by 1 inches. Just slant though. This is slant 1 inches. So it's slant it 1 inch. Then I'll connect it to that armhole. The next thing we are going to do is to mark out 1.5 inches on this half length. That is the front side. We are going to mark out 1.5 inches. Then connect the two lines to the underbust. If you check very well, you notice that the line stopped at the underbust. Then I'll connect the line to the bust line. So connect the line. Wow. So if you check very well, you notice that our bustier is ready. See, the shape of the breast have already come out. So this is how to cut for a simple bustier drafting. This is how to draft out a bustier. Half inches towards the center front and 1.5 inches towards the center side. So the next thing now is to cut out the fabric. This lace I'm cancel out is where I'm going to cut out, and also this side I'm going to cut out here. The next thing now is to cut out the pattern drafting. Before we cut out this pattern drafting, the front has a small opening, so I'm going to come down by half an inch on the below the neckline. I'm going to come down half an inch. I'm going to use this red pen to mark it first, then before I will use the marker to thicken it. So I came down half an inch, then from that half an inch I came down again by 2 inches, but I later add extra half an inch to it. That is, I came down by 2.5 inches. So it depends how you want your own opening to be, small, wide, or exactly how it is on the picture your client sent to you. So I'm going to give a tiny mark there. After giving a mark there, from that place I marked earlier, I'm going to place my tape there. I'm going to place my tape there and then divide what I have there by 2. So I have about 1.2 inches. So from that place I just marked now. I'm going to go in by 1 inch. I thought of going in by 1 inch, but opening it's going to be wider, so I placed about 0.7 inches to make it 1.5 inches when I open it. So I'm going to give a mark there and then connect the 3 lines. After joining the front opening, I'm going to label the center front. After this, I'm going to start imputing her body measurement. On her chest line, I'm going to divide her bust measurement by 4, then add 1.5 inches sewing allowance. Remember that I already marked it while drafting out our armhole, so I'm going to add 1.5 inches to it. Then I'll measure what I have here on the dart and replace it back. So I have about 1.5 inches. I'm going to replace it back. Then on the half length, I'm going to divide her waist measurement by 4. Her waist measurement by 4 is 8.7. I'm going to mark it and then add 1.5 stitching allowance and replace the darts I have here 1.5 inches. The next thing is to connect these 2 lines. After connecting these 2 lines, I will then cut it out. When I got to this place, I remembered that I have not curved the new armhole. So I placed the curve rule on the paper to curve the new armhole. After curving this new armhole, I'm going to continue to cut out the drafting. After drafting the front pattern, we are going to go ahead and draft out the back pattern. So I've gone ahead to cut out the excesses there. On the starting point, I'm going to come down by 18 inches, 15 inches for the under bust, 10 inches for the bust, and 8 inches for the waist. So I'm going to use this line that I used for the front drafting to continue with the back drafting. After drawing this line, I'm going to connect the lines together. I'll connect the chest line, bust, under bust, and waist line, then label the lines. On the starting line, I'm going to divide her shoulder measurement by 2. So I'll mark 0.5 inches. Then I will come down on the chest line and mark 5 inches again and then connect the two lines. After connecting the two lines on the starting point, I'm going to come down by 1 inches for our shoulder slope. Before then, I observed that I did not add extra 1.5 inches for the zipper allowance, so I have to start adding 1.5 inches for the zipper allowance. So this will make us to draft another new pattern. That means our allowance have added. So I'm going to mark this 1.5 inches down to the starting point. After adding 1.5 to serve as our zipper allowance, I'm going to connect the lines down to the half length. So you connect your own down to your half length. Then make sure that when you are cutting out your back pattern, you add 1.5 inches allowance for your zipper allowance or 2 inches allowance. It will start for your zipper allowance. I'm going to create another drafting because already the 1.5 allowance I added to it have adjusted the allowance. So I'm going to start again to bring out another measurement. So I divided her shoulder by 2 to give me 7.5. Then the next thing is to connect the two lines together. After connecting the two lines together on her chest line, before that I'm going to cancel this first line. This first line is cancelled, so we'll not be using the first line again. The next thing I'm going to do now is to divide her bust measurement by 4 and then mark it. Remember what we have marked for the front pattern, her bust measurement. So we are going to divide it by 4 and then mark it. So this will enable us to get our armhole. After that, I'm going to come down by 1 inches, then mark it. Then the next thing is to, on the starting point, I'm going to come in by 3 inches to get our back dart. I'm going to mark 3 inches and then come down by 1.5 inches for the depth. So this will serve for our neck dart. The back side is the high neck, so we are going to mark it as high neck. The next thing now is to connect the two lines together. After connecting this line now, I'm going to connect the shoulder slope. So remember that we came down by 1 inches for the shoulder slope, so I'm going to connect the line to the neckline. After connecting this line now, I'm going to, on the shoulder line, I'm going to divide whatsoever I have there by 2. So this will enable us to get our armhole. So it's about 7 inches. Dividing it by 2 is 3.5 inches. So I'm going to mark it. After marking it, I will then, on that place I marked, I'll go in by 0.5 inches. But I just remember that it's back, so I can choose not to add 0.5 inches to it. So I'm going to connect it just like that. I'm going to connect it just like that. So I don't want to go in by 0.5 inches again. So you can choose to go in by 0.5 inches, or you can choose to connect it just like this. It's still okay for the back armhole. So I'm going to adjust join the line so that it will enable us to add our allowance for this back dart. Then I'm going to mark her back dart. That is the next thing I'm doing now. So I divided her nipple to nipple, then marked it. The next thing now is to join the lines together. After joining this line now, we are going to just form a small dart, not like the front pattern. So we are going to form a small dart on the waistline. I'm going to go in on both sides 0.5 inches and then connect it just like this. You start from your bust line to be connecting and then join it to the half length. Just watch the way I'm joining it. I use red pen to mark it first so that I won't have errors while marking with marker. So you can choose to mark with marker, or you can choose to use your biro to mark it first before ticking it with your marker. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to add allowance to this back drafting. I've added allowance 1.5 allowance to the back, to the chest line. Then on the half length, I'm going to divide her bust measurement, waist measurement by 4, then added 1.5 inches allowance to it. This is all for this back pattern. The next thing now is to connect the lines together. Just watch carefully. I'm going to connect the lines together. After connecting this line now, I'm going to be cutting out this pattern drafting. The next thing I'm going to do is to cut out the hand, the off hand. So I'm going to use her normal sleeve to cut it out. I have about 12 inches here, 12 inches by length, and I'll use her normal sleeve to cut it out. So just watch what I'm going to be doing. Then her round sleeve is 15 inches. Her round sleeve is 15 inches. So I'm going to be using spread and splash method for this both hand. So I'm using 12 inches for the length. After marking this length, I'm going to join it together. So I just want a neat work. I have about 12.5, so I have to reduce it to 12 inches to give me what I want. Her sleeve length is 15 inches, so I marked 15 inches and added 1.5 stitching allowance. Remember, I said that I'm going to use spread and splash method for this off hand. So there are so many other methods that you can use for your off hand, but I choose to use this one. If you check on the video that I posted as my cover page, this method will really give me what I want, so that's why I'm using this method. Then the next thing I did, I cut out the sleeve with round sleeve, that is 15 dividing by 2. I already explained it. Then on this spread and splash method, I used 1.5 inches for it. So after cutting it just like this, I'm going to place it on another paper just like this you've seen, then cut it out. Then after cutting it out, I'm going to be cutting out the name fabric. I'm going to use the pattern drafting to cut out the materials. So after cutting this material, I'll go ahead to iron them and then iron them with my stem. While cutting out your fabric, always remember to cut it out with 0.5 inches. This will enable you to join your fabric without any shortage of allowance. Remember to add 0.5 inches. This will serve as your sewing allowance. So let me repeat it again. Always add 0.5 inches while cutting out your fabric. It will enable you to have enough allowance on your fabric. So after cutting out this fabric, I'm going to be making a video when sewing it. This is all for this pattern drafting. If you want to know how I'm going to be sewing this gown, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to notify you whenever I'm going to upload the sewing process. And please don't forget to like, share and comment. Drop a comment section if you find this video helpful. Thank you for watching. Bye.